What's up guys, it is a really good time to talk about the state of Overwatch, a game that is able to simultaneously make me so happy and so angry at the same time. We're going to be talking about what's new, if it's good right now, and my impressions about characters and more. I want to hear what you think as well. Let's take a look.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Season 3, some of the new modes, the new character, and where things are at. Many of you may know this already, but the new character is Shion. She's an Omnic. She's supposed to be kind of like a robot, but she looks a lot like a person. Some people are a bit grumpy about that. There's a new mode that's just ruffled some feathers that just came out now, which is a new 6v6 role queue, which goes back to a little bit like how Overwatch 1 used to be. But the way this one works is that you now have one mandatory tank, two mandatory support characters, and then 3 DPS, of which one of those DPS can swap over to tank. Now, is that working out well? Does this seem like it's going to be the future of Overwatch? I'll talk about that in a section just a bit later.
Yeah. You missed me, bitch.
The other thing you need to know then is a big one. It looks like Stadium is essentially dead. They're going to be carrying on with it to a degree, but they've said that as of now, there's going to be no more new heroes for Stadium. They're not really going to be putting anything in there. Stadium isn't really being played much at all, so it's going to pretty much be phased out. In terms of the overall experience of Overwatch right now, this is a game that can be very fun, and it's a game that can be very frustrating, as is the case usually. Now, I do find that the more you play something, the more you find frustration in it, and if you just occasionally hop in, you find that it's just a more casual, fun experience. So let's talk about this new 6v6 role queue mode that they've introduced. As I said, so there are 2 support characters, 1 tank, and then 3 DPS, of which one of those DPS can choose to be a tank as well if they want. So I mainly play quick play, and I've been playing a lot of 6v6 open queue, and what has happened in that mode that it's been really frustrating to me is that I find that almost all the time in my games, I'm sitting with a problem where I have 3 or 4 DPS in my team, and if I'm lucky, there will be a tank and 1 healer, and then I will sort of choose which way to go. But way too often when I play, I'm solo healing 5 DPS, or I'm tanking by myself with 4 DPS and like 1 support trying to help out and heal, and a lot of these games just go terribly bad. And I don't understand the players who play DPS. I don't know if they don't know how to play anything else, but it gets really frustrating because a lot of those games, we just get destroyed. And we get smashed and destroyed because we're such a weird, imbalanced team. So it's really nice to know that there's a mode now that when I play, I know that there's at least going to be 2 support and at least 1 tank, but the 3 DPS, you don't know if you're going to get 2 or 3. However, what I've noticed so far in playing is that there is almost always 3 DPS, so the tank is left to tank alone, pretty much like in the 5v5 mode except without the buffs, and at least there are 2 supports. So I've personally found if I want to play in balanced games, I basically have to queue for DPS, and then if I get DPS, I can fill that second tank role. And if someone else magically does that, then I can actually maybe play some DPS a bit. Otherwise, if I go all or anything else, I'm just mostly playing support and occasional tank, but then you're solo tanking or you're playing support all the time. Now, I enjoy support. It's normally what I do the most, but, I want to mix it up a bit, and it gets a bit frustrating because, once again, all the DPS just want a DPS. They don't want to do anything else. People who are always going to insta-lock or always going to queue for those roles, and then when they get in, none of them want to change to tank, and a lot of them are just really bad. Like, they get almost no kills. They get a whole bunch of deaths. You can see from watching them play, they don't know how to use cover. They don't stick together with you, but they also won't swap to tank or something like that. So that gets a bit frustrating, and that leads me into a next subtopic here. Even in 6v6, I find that it's still a balancing issue in this game where one person can do too much to negatively affect your team. This is a game that absolutely punishes you. If you don't have 6 players playing at least a decent level. Because if I get one DPS that comes in and they're just not doing much damage or they're just getting themselves killed over and over, you quickly get to a position where your entire team just feels like it can't progress or you can't hold the enemy team, because there's just still too many games that when you play, you get steamrolled really hard, and alternatively you land up steamrolling the other team really hard, and those games are often over really quick. Now, it's great to steamroll another team and feel good about yourself every now and then, and it's horrible to get steamrolled. But it's not what any of us want. What we all want, and when it comes along it's great, is to have really good, fun, close games. So on the first night or two when this new mode came out, we had a bunch of games and they were really tight. It felt like we were playing comp. A lot of them were really, really fun. You know, it felt like we were working our butts off from beginning to end, and you kind of feel frazzled, but that's the best Overwatch experience that you can ever get. And in something like quick play, it doesn't come along as much as you maybe get in something like comp, because people are kind of screwing around more. And I get it, some people are just in quick play because they want to screw around or get used to a character more, but it still kind of sucks that it can really just turn the tide so hard that no one's really having fun, no one's really learning anything either, you just get stomped. I want to just talk about how also a little bit of a problem right now still, cheaters and things even on console, where you've got people who cheat using mouse and keyboard. I see a lot of people on Reddit still complaining about it. Things like Smurfs getting matched with other people who are actually like level 2 and level 5, trying to learn the game, getting completely wrecked by some Genji or Tracer or something that, you know, doesn't even die for the entire level. You know, the entire match. Cool, but let's talk about some of the characters. We know with the new season and the change from Overwatch 2 to just Overwatch, they had brought in a whole bunch of new characters. Now, since then, we've also seen 2 brand new additions on top of those, which was Sierra last season, and then now we got Shion. Now, Shion, I think I'll talk about first. I mentioned a bit about the fact that she's the first kind of female Omnic in a sense, and people are grumpy. Some people were grumpy because they say, oh, you know, of course now they've just, you know, Blizzard have gone and made her look like some hot lady because they want to sell skins or whatever, and, you know, it doesn't look like an Omnic and all that. If you look at people like Zenyatta or characters like Zenyatta and Ramatra, then you've got this very different, very kind of normal looking character. I mean, at a distance they just look like a person. But that aside, I think they kind of look cool maybe anyway, and I could understand. I don't know if there's like some better backstory to why they look like that, but let's just talk about gameplay for a second. I think playing as Shion and playing against Shion has been pretty cool. I think it's nothing, she's not a big game changer for the game in any major way. She's quite potent in some places. Her guns are very effective. They're quite powerful for the speed that they shoot. Getting her bike to be effective to kind of smash into people and things like that, and using it for mobility is kind of cool. Overall, I think she's a pretty decently balanced character. Her ult can be quite potent, but not that crazy. Her abilities and her dash and things like that all seem to work out much better in comparison to someone I want to talk about next, which is the last character to come out, which is Sierra. So Sierra really annoyed the hell out of me in the season she came out because she was way too powerful, and her ultimate just basically was play of the game, game after game, because that thing is so potent. Now, they've been doing their little tweaks and adjustments and balances in the game, but Sierra has now become one of my most just hated characters to play against at the moment.
Teleporter materialized. Over there.
I don't play as her that much, which I should maybe do a bit more, but maybe it's just because of my disdain for her existence right now. But I get very frustrated playing against Sierra because I feel like when I play against her, her guns are either too powerful, or she has too much ammo, or she has too much health. You know, she has a lot of mobility, and her ultimate is still way too strong. So when I'm playing against her, I really get frustrated with the amount of times I've played against a Sierra where I will nearly get her dead and I will die and she will get away with just 5% health, or I have to reload and she just has that little bit more ammo in her weapon. And I had heard that what some people were suggesting for a balance is just to reduce her ammo a little bit, which would be great. Because also, it's insane how strong her tracking shot is against someone who doesn't have crazy mobility, or if you get caught in the middle of nowhere. If you're someone like Juno who's up in the air and you get tagged with her tracking dart, you're cooked. You are absolutely cooked. There is no way you can get quick enough that her follow-up shots aren't going to take you out. And what really blows my mind is when I'm playing tank and she hooks me with that thing, because that thing is not that hard to hit. I'm actually surprised at how big its hitbox is, or whatever you call it. The actual connection box on that thing is big, and it hits you quite easily. And once that thing hits you, even as a tank, she can wipe your entire health bar out on some of these tanks, and their health bars are not small. I don't think she should have the ability to completely delete a tank off of one of those tags. It's just kind of crazy to me.
Out of my way. Unsurpassable.
In terms of who I've been playing lately, I've found that I've been enjoying playing Domina quite a bit as a tank. I really enjoy her, although I do find that in certain instances she's a little bit weak, that she can get overrun pretty heavily, especially, of course, if you're playing one tank versus a team that's got two. And dive tanks and things like that. If they come in at you, you're in big trouble. They'll come and pummel you pretty quick, and there's no amount of pushing away and things that are gonna save your butt from something like that. But I just enjoy the way she plays, and I've taken some time to get better with her ult, because I was kind of sucking with it, but I finally learned better ways of like spotting where I should really line things up and fire it off to get a good effect out of it. In terms of the new DPS characters, I've had a lot of fun playing Anran. She really was quite difficult for me to get into at first, and I think a lot of people will find that. But once you get into the groove of her and learn how to use her cooldowns and how to use her moves to get in, set people on fire, sort of get out and things like that, it becomes quite a lot of fun, because I'm also not someone who enjoys playing characters like Genji or Tracer or Sombra, so having another option for me to play someone that's in the back lines a bit and flanking and doing all that sort of stuff, it's nice to have someone that actually gels with me there. She's quite a lot of fun.
Taking the point. Don't leave me hanging.
Then when it comes to healers and things and support, Mizuki's been a lot of fun as well. I quite like his whole thing where you have to kind of be aggressive as a support. It's a nice addition to the support lineup. I like that you can use his little teleport run thingy to move yourself, into a dangerous situation, get a bunch of hits, maybe even take someone down, and then zip yourself back and get your multiplier up and solid, so that you can now heal the people around you even better. He's been quite a lot of fun, and it's really fun to use his chain to hook down someone who's been annoyingly mobile around you. So whether or not you're hooking a cat in the air, or you're hooking a Sombra or something like that and preventing them from getting away, it's really satisfying to kind of lock them down and make them pay for it for once, And on that note, it wouldn't be one of my Overwatch videos if I didn't just take a dedicated little segment out to talk about how much I hate Sombra. I hate her so much. She is the destroyer of fun. She is the sapper of joy. And I just cannot wait for them to finally, whenever the hell they get around to it, update that character or change her or rework her, because I still have way too many games where the moment you hear that Sombra noise around you, this entire game's about to change. What really annoys me about Sombra is that they are this like little get out of jail free card for a lot of people. Like, I'll see them playing their normal characters, and then towards the end of the match, if they start losing, or if they were winning and then suddenly start losing, boop, here comes the Sombra. And they just come in and they just start being annoying and they just start hacking everything.
Fine. If you cut the pace. I keep my secrets.
So, it's about time to give my kind of overall summary and conclusion of what I think about Overwatch right now. But I'm just one of many players out there, so I really want to hear from you guys in the comments. Like, what are you experiencing? How's it been going for you? Who do you enjoy playing? Who do you hate? What are your peeves? Let's hear it. So, for me, Overwatch in 2026, I mean, I'm still amazed that this game has had such a great comeback. I still am rooting for this game all the time because when it's good, it's so good. And there's just so much fun to be had in a game like this. And when those games are balanced and you're in those good fights where everyone's doing what they should be doing and everything, it's just pure joy. It's just great online multiplayer. So it is still frustrating that many of the times the problems with the game are less about balancing and heroes and things like that, but a lot of the time it's just matchmaking issues and external issues or Smurfs and things like that that really cause a lot of those problems.
Time for the reckoning! The Eye of Horus watches over you.
I think that if someone hasn't been playing Overwatch and they were thinking of picking it up now, I'm not sure what to tell them, because you might be walking into a world of pain, especially with these Smurfs and things, and a lot of characters to learn and all these sorts of things. But at the same time, at least you can pick one or two characters, learn how they play, and make your way from there. I just wish that they had some better guardrails for those new players to be able to learn safely, if I can put it that way, so that they can really only move out of a novice area without matchmaking screwing it up or making it a very terrible experience. And I know this also from having some other people around me who don't play much coming to join us a bit for games now and then, and it's a lot to take in, and it's a hell of a problem when you've got enemies who are vicious, especially when they join us in our groups and it picks up that we're in a group and it puts us with another group of people who are playing as if they're preparing for the World Cup of Overwatch. So yeah, it's a bit tricky for that. In terms of people who are playing a lot, I mean, some of us are just addicted to a point where, like, no matter how much this game kills us, we tend to find ourselves coming back to it again. And I mean, I actually did stop playing for quite a while. I had uninstalled it up until the point where it changed over back to Overwatch 1, because I thought, really, I've got to give it time to, they must either sort it out or I can't keep doing this. And I did experience a brief period of 1 or 2 months of just pleasant gaming where I was finishing my single player game backlogs and having a good time. And then, things started coming back in, and also this was at the time before this even, where perks and things came back that got me to come back in. And yeah, it's like I'm happy I'm playing the game, but I'm also very aware at how it can affect me negatively, and this can be a problem with quite a few games. So yeah, I want this game to be at its best, and I don't know if they'll ever be able to get there, because I don't exactly know what's preventing them from getting this matchmaking in a better place. And with the way that Microsoft is behaving right now in terms of the teams that they're supporting and not supporting and things, you never know how things are going to go. You never know if this team's going to get what they need to make this game really awesome and keep it awesome, or if they're going to be at the risk of being closed with no warning. So let's all hope that doesn't come to it, because as much as this game does get on my nerves sometimes, I really do enjoy playing it quite a lot still, and I would be very sad to see it come to an end. If you don't know the channel, I mostly do game reviews, but I also do longer reviews on the state of games that have been out for a while, as well as some features and things, so don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos from me. It'll be cool to have you along. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I hope to see you in the comments, and I will see you soon.